We're in Montgomery, Alabama.
Turning round and round, my sister and their man condescend.
Some of the most terrible chapters of our history. And today we were reminded of that in acute and profound ways by going to the Legacy Museum here, also known as the Peace and Justice Museum, or the National Lynching Museum.
For me, I actually have a history degree and an anthropology degree, and yeah, I didn't know much about what I was actually wandering into here as far as Montgomery, and for me it was a symbol constantly of civil rights. And of the good that came out, and really the real story of human trafficking that is rooted in this culture and rooted in this location. I should say culture, but the location itself. I didn't know the depth of it, which really put a new lens onto the world for me and really changed how I saw even the country that I call home.
I almost feel it and know it to be true, that we're gonna get there. Probably not in our lifetimes, but it's moving in the right direction.
The problem today is much as it was 40 years ago. The amount of assets under management in the industry, the trillions of dollars, how many of those dollars are not in the hands of people of color and women? Business is doing itself a disservice by not having a more diverse set of people who are involved in the management of those assets.
When there's so many people at a decision-making table, so many voices and experiences represented, then we really can collaborate and create solutions that serve all people. But it's important that an array of fellow humans are at that table having those conversations.
Impact Experience has worked with several communities throughout the U.S. And a really important approach is the co-creation process. Historically, the relationship between community members and people from outside have been very hierarchical. And that is problematic because a lot of the solutions are not going to be carried out in the long term. And so the co-creation process really allows for ownership and buy-in by community leaders to essentially create initiatives that are innovative in the long term.
One of the things that happens is people and communities are dealing with elements of trauma. It's very hard to go straight to solutions. So trust building within that context becomes incredibly important, especially in communities that have historically been disenfranchised.
Oftentimes, I think sometimes solution building can feel like, oh, it's just one person who's going to hand down a solution, or it's very one-directional, and it seems to me that Impact Experience is very much about approaching it with a lot of different perspectives in order to help create the most holistic steps forward that can also be agile to the ways in which our communities and the world is constantly in flux and in motion.
The goal of the Impact Experience is to humanize people who may have an expertise in funding or development or art or social entrepreneurship by really tearing down the dividing wall between their life experience and the experience of local entrepreneurs, local artists, local activists, local leaders, and forming community.
Using exercises and activities that really help you get out of your intellectual head a little bit so you can access that greater part of yourself, and then bring back the intellect to solve the problems.
Bring intention and problem solving and innovation and creativity and love around a particular issue.
I think the thing that Impact Experience does best is creating an opportunity for everybody in the room to be humanized, to really hear each other's story, to get into each other's shoes, and to be able to really connect with each other's experience.
The exploration and the conversation is deep and open, creates this amazing chemistry of possibilities.
I think Impact Experience is incredible at setting the table in a space where everyone feels absolutely not only vital to the conversation, but safe in the space that's been created to have the conversation.
doing the work of inclusion, of diversity, of equity involves bringing people to address disparities, biases in very deep ways.
Going to see the Legacy Museum, that was a huge stepping stone for me in my journey around racial equity. It's a journey I've been on for some time now, and because not just personally that I care, but I want to be a more effective steward of the resources that we have at my family's foundation. And to do that and to show up and to get as proximate as I can, I need to go on my own personal journey. And this experience has given me that opportunity to deepen that, and I'm forever grateful.
I think the foundations are looking for ways to connect with community to make lasting change and positive impact.
We're really excited for all that will continue to conspire from our work in the coming months and years in places like Ohio and Arizona and internationally too, in Peru and Kenya and other places, and it's really just the beginning. Thank you.